coming in from the top court, where we are now understanding the Supreme Court, in fact, has now issued a notice on plea seeking directions for declaring the participation of state ministers in meeting titled Sanatan Dharma Eradication Conference as unconstitutional and violative of Article 25 as well as Article 26 of the Indian Constitution. What we are also now understanding is that the top court has also sought a response from the Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin himself. Our viewers would remember this entire row around Sanatan Dharma broke out when the comments were made by Udhayanidhi Stalin when he said, just like malaria and dengue, Sanatan Dharma also needs to be eradicated. Let's first bring in our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar to try and understand what we are hearing from the Supreme Court. Ananya, help us understand the notice that has been issued by the top court.
Well, definitely, the hearing has taken a turn, in fact, at the end of it, because since the very beginning, the Supreme Court was very, very keen to send the matter back to the High Court. It was asking the petitioner that, this is something that the High Court should listen. However, the petitioner, who was being represented by Advocate Nadu, was very, very persistent to say that, this is the state that has been making remarks against the Sanatan Dharma, and that's the reason that the matter needs to be heard by the topmost court of the country itself. He also went on to say that these are the matters that have been pending, and these are the individual directions that come under Article 32. In fact, the court questioned him as to what is the prayer that he is there, and he then went on to explain. And in fact, very, very clearly, Mr. Naidu pointed out that on the very same day, the ex-parte kindly see that the directions by the individual circulars have been given that students should speak against the Sanatan Dharma. Such speeches by the constitutional authority is impermissible, and the students should not be, forced to say this. And this practice is something that is really, really bad, and following which the Supreme Court was convinced to issue a notice to the Tamil Nadu government and Mr. Udhayanidhi Stalin over his remarks. So how will the matter play up before the topmost court of the country is something that will be answered with time, when the Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin would be filing the responses. Also, what would be interesting to see is that what Udhayanidhi Stalin would be saying in defense of his remarks on the Sanatan Dharma, comparing it with clearly with dengue and other diseases. So we'll have to wait and watch for all of that, but definitely a big order coming in. Supreme Court issuing clear notices to Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin in this particular case.
Ananya, as you rightly pointed out, what will be interesting will be the response that comes in from the Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin himself, because still now the DMK and the leader himself has been defined. There has been no apology. In fact, they've only gone on to reiterate their comments. Just as far as the seeking of response is concerned, has there a specific timeline that has been given to the Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin?
Well, Ridhima, since it was just a oral order that was passed, the Supreme Court, in its written order, might give out some timeline. However, nothing of that sort was given out with regards to in the oral direction itself. So we'll have to wait for the detailed order copy to come in. But at this point of time, notices have been issued, and in fact, a response has been sought from both Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin on this particular case.
As far as the legal aspect of this entire row is concerned, where is it now headed, Ananya?
Well, it is definitely, what has been categorically stated is that this is a hate speech, and in fact, it should be hate speech that what clearly setting Chudawala guidelines should apply to it. However, how will this play out before the topmost of the country? Only time can tell when the matter comes up before the detailed hearing actually takes place in the Congress.
We just seem to be losing that line with Ananya. We'll try and reestablish that connection. But as Ananya was pointing out, there is a notice that has been issued from the top court. A response has been sought from the Tamil Nadu government and Udhayanidhi Stalin as well. Well, that's a developing story that we'll keep a very close eye on. Let's move on and bring